Good morning, students. Welcome to Chanakya Academy online classes, Standard 12 Science, Subject Biology. Yes, so we have started again with a new chapter, and in that, I've explained the component of ecosystem. Okay, so there are basically four component of ecosystem: productivity, decomposition, energy flow, and nutrient cycle. In that, I have explained productivity. Okay, and in productivity we saw GPP and NPP. Okay, that is gross primary productivity, and we have also discussed about your net primary productivity. Okay, so we have come to another topic. Okay, that is the second topic of the content, that is decomposition. Now the word decomposition, I no need to explain you because you know about decomposers, the earthworm, which is the main and important organism which is helping in making the organism break into smaller components. Okay, so let's see about how exactly the decomposition process is taking place by earthworm. So yes, let's start. You have heard of the earthworm being referred to as farmer's friend. Okay, so we have done the morphology and anatomy of earthworm, and you are familiar with their structure. Okay, we don't need to discuss them over here. Yes. This is so because they help in breakdown of complex organic matter as well as in loosening of soil. Similarly, decomposers break down complex organic matter into inorganic substances like carbon dioxide, water, and nutrients, and the process is called as decomposition. Okay, so what exactly is decomposition? If we talk about decomposition, is the breakdown. Okay, first of all, what it is breakdown of what? Complex organic matter. That means we are talking about all the proteins, all the carbohydrates, and all the lipid which constitute the organism body. Okay, all these are present in an organisms. So that complex organic matter need to be broken down into simpler inorganic substances. Okay, so it will be broken down, and what will be that? It will be carbon dioxide, water, and nutrients. So all this is the process of decomposition. Okay, dead plant remains such as leaf, bark, flowers, and dead remnants of animals including facial matter constitute detritus. Okay, which is a raw material for decomposition. The important step in the process of decomposition are fragmentation, leaching, catabolism, humidification, and mineralization. Okay, so in decomposition, these steps are very important. Okay, so you need to make notes of these 5 processes of decomposition, and always remember that this will come one after the another. Okay, that means in the steps of process of decomposition, the first step will be fragmentation, then it will be leaching, followed by catabolism, then humification, and mineralization. So these are the 5 important steps in the process of decomposition. So that means we only know that there are some organisms which are helping to decompose this substances. Okay, but in decomposition also there are these 5 steps which are in sequence and which help in breaking down of complex organic matter into simplest inorganic substances. So whatever organism it may be, but in decomposition process all these steps will take place. Okay, so what are these steps? What do you mean by these steps? that we will study in this decomposition content. Okay, so let's move further and let's see what they are talking about. Detritus, that is the earthworm they are talking about, break down detritus into small particles. This process is called fragmentation. So first process is your fragmentation. So from the word it is clear that fragments will be done of whatever organism it may be. It may be a leaf, it may be a flower or dead organisms. Okay, so their body first of all will be divided into small fragments. So that is the first process which is known as fragmentation. Understood? Then the second one is leaching. So by the process of leaching, water soluble inorganic nutrient, okay, you have to write this word. What it is? Water soluble inorganic nutrients go down into the soil horizon and get precipitated as unavailable salts. Okay, so leaching means to come out, to leach out. So what will come out? The water soluble components will come out. And what these water soluble? They are inorganic nutrients. Okay, so whatever water soluble inorganic components are there, they will leach out, they will come out and move into soil. Okay, and they will go down into soil, and from there it will be precipitated. Okay, so that is leaching. So we did fragmentation, we did leaching. Now come to the third one, that is catabolism. Now this word catabolism we have discussed in chapter number 1 of 11th standard, that is metabolism. In that we discuss about anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism means formation or synthesis and catabolism is breakdown. So over here the breakdown is the process, that means catabolism. Okay, now what will be broken down? Bacteria and fungal enzymes degrade detritus into simple inorganic substances. Okay, so all the complex macromolecules or organic components will be broken down into simpler inorganic substances. Okay, and this is known as catabolism, means breakdown. So enzymes will be present and these enzymes will come from bacteria and fungus. Okay, that means on the organisms the growth of bacteria and fungal will take place. Okay, and in that cell, that means the cell of bacteria and fungus will have enzymes. That enzymes will break down the organic substances, complex organic substances into simpler inorganic substances. Understood? So this process will be known as catabolism. So fragmentation, breaking down into fragments, okay, that means the physical fragmentation they are talking about. Then leaching, that means whatever excess amount of water soluble inorganic nutrients which will be there, it will come out. Okay, so that will make the body, or you can say the organism, to shrink. Okay, this you must have heard somewhere that after some time it gets shrink. Okay, the body gets shrink. So this is the process of leaching. Then catabolism, that it will be broken down, and it will be broken down with the help of certain bacteria and fungus, and inside this they will have the enzymes, so that enzymes will help them. Now come to the fourth one. It is important to note that all the above steps in decomposition operate simultaneously on the detritus. Humification and mineralization occur during decomposition in the soil. Okay, now humification. What is this humification? Humification leads to accumulation of dark color amorphous substance called humus. Okay, the word humification comes for humus. Okay, and humus I have explained you. Okay, the topmost layer of the soil which you see, it is little bit dark in color, which constitute of humus, and that humus is very rich in, sorry, rich for soils. Okay, so after the breakdown we get an accumulation of dark color amorphous substances which is called as humus, that is highly resistant to microbial action and undergo decomposition at an extremely slow rate. Being colloidal in nature, it serves as a reservoir of nutrients. Okay, so as I told you that humus is the topmost layer on this earth. Okay, and it is rich in nutrients. So why it is rich in nutrients? Because the process of decomposition which is taking place. Okay, so after the third process, okay, that is catabolism, what is happening? We are getting inorganic substances. So that inorganic substances get accumulate, and further microbial action is very slow. Okay, so as it is slow, this layer is rich in nutrients. Okay, so all the nutrients will get accumulated on these topmost regions. Okay, that's why we say that humus is containing high nutritive value, or we can say it is a reservoir of nutrients. Okay, so let's see again. Yes, accumulation of dark colored amorphous substance called humus is highly resistant to microbial action. Okay, it is resistance. Microbial action will become slow and undergo decomposition at an extremely slow rate. Being colloidal in nature, it serves as a reservoir of nutrients. Okay, come to the last with that is mineralization. The human is further degraded by some microbes, and release of inorganic nutrients occurs by the process of mineralization. Okay, mineralization means deposition of minerals or formation of minerals. Okay, specifically formation of minerals is taking place. And how it is taking place? Because these microbes, that is the bacteria and fungi, they are digesting it, okay, by the process of catabolism. And when they are digesting it, they are releasing the inorganic nutrients. Okay, inorganic nutrients we have done in second chapter. Okay, the various nutrients, the phosphorus, potassium, calcium, potassium. Okay, all these nutrients which are present in soil, they are being released or formed by these organisms. Okay, the microorganisms help in forming them. Okay, so microbes help in releasing of the inorganic nutrients, and this is known as your mineralization. That is, minerals are formed, deposition of minerals is taking place. Okay, yes, come to the next one. What they are talking about is decomposition is largely an oxygen requiring process. Okay, because we know that bacteria and fungi, they are doing the process of digestion. So for doing digestion, oxygen is continuously required. Okay, so rate of decomposition is controlled by chemical deposition of detritus and climatic factors. Okay, in a particular climatic condition, deposition rate is lower if detritus is rich in lignin and chitin. Okay, and quicker if detritus is rich in nitrogen and water soluble substance like sugar. Okay, so they have given one more example. Okay, that decomposition rate will be slow. When it will be slow? if the detritus is rich in lignin and chitin. And when it will be faster? When detritus is rich in nitrogen and water soluble substances like sugar. Okay, so temperature and soil moisture are the most important climatic factor that regulates decomposition through their effect on the activities of soil microbes. Okay, so for the decompositions to take place, okay, two things are very important. Which two things? That is temperature they are talking about, and the soil moisture. Okay, so soil should be moistured properly. That means you must have seen that if you are having a dumped area, okay, where the moisture is maximum and the temperature is slow, in that area spoiling or degradation takes place faster as compared to that area where the temperature is high and exposed to sunlight. So in that area the process of decomposition or degradation will be slower, and that is why this is one of the reasons. See, this is one of the reason why we bury the dead bodies deep inside the soil, because in that area temperature will not be there and soil moisture will be high. So because of these two conditions, the breakdown of the organisms or the body will be faster. Okay, so that is why we bury the dead bodies. Yes, temperature and soil moisture are the most important climatic factors that regulate decompositions through their effect on the activities of soil microbes. Warm and moist environment flavors decomposition, whereas low temperature and anabolist inhibits decomposition, resulting in build up of organic material. Okay, this I have explained you. So these are the few things that you should know. Okay, that moist and warm environment, it favors decomposition process. Okay, this you know. Okay, whereas low temperature and anabolism, that is absence of oxygen, that will inhibit the decomposition process. Okay, so these are few of the points that you should know. So with this we have finished with the process of decomposition. Before moving, I just want to explain this diagram which is given in your NCERT, that is the diagrammatic representation of decomposition cycle in the terrestrial ecosystem. Okay, that means in terrestrial ecosystem, how exactly the decomposition is taking place. Okay, so they have explained with a very beautiful diagram. Okay, see what they have taken. They have taken a plant, and we know that continuously from the plants the leaves fall to the ground. Okay, so when the leaves are falling, what is happening? Some are eaten by insects and other animals. Nutrients and energy enters the food web. Okay, so what is happening over here? Okay, some of the plants, okay, the leaf particularly they are talking about leaf, it is eaten by organisms, and when they are eaten by the organisms, they enter into the food chain. Okay, so here you can see they are showing the same thing, that the caterpillar is feeding on the leaf. Okay, so what is happening if that particular plant or organism dies? What will happen? See, they have shown two situations. Let me, yes, show you the two situations they are talking about. The one situation is that some nutrients leach into soil by chemical action. Okay, that means the leaves, it will be fragmented and the catabolic process will take place. Okay, because the leaves have touched the ground. Second one they are talking about is that leaves partially consumed by the decomposers such as fungi and bacteria, they began to lose form and become litters. Okay, so these are either fed by fungi, so they will act as a food, because what are fungi exactly? They are saprophytes. So these leaves, the dead leaves, will be their food. Okay, so on them they will grow and they will be broken down into smaller pieces. Understood? So after they have been broken down into smaller pieces, what will happen? A very important thing will happen, that is now the function of earthworm, bacteria and fungi takes place. That what they will do? They will break the complex organic matter. Okay, what complex organic matter? That we are talking about leaf. Leaf will be made up of different type of cells. Inside the cells they will have complex molecules, complex organic matters. So these organic matters, they will be broken down into simplest inorganic matter. Okay, and that inorganic matter will ultimately give rise to humus, that is humification process. Okay, and that humus will make the soil rich. Understood? Leaves going to the falling off. Okay, it has been eaten or it may be consumed by the fungi. Okay, first process, then second, or it may be consumed. After that what will happen? They will be decomposed by the earthworm, where the process of catabolism will take place, where the complex molecule will be broken down into simplest one. That means the complex organic matter will be broken down into simplest inorganic matter. And ultimately what we will get? We will get the soil which will be rich in this nutrient. And that soil will have humus. Okay, now as that soil will have humus, that will allow the tree to grow, because ultimately what will be there? Mineralization process will be taking place, deposition of different minerals will be there, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, and that NPK will make the tree grow faster. So this is the life cycle which is happening in decomposition cycle. So I just want you to learn this cycle. Okay, draw it and write a short note on the process of decomposition, the 5 main steps. Okay, and in sequence you have to write. Yes, now let's see the next topic. Yes, the next one is the energy flow. So we have finished with the 2 topics. The third is energy flow, that is the energy flowing from one area to another. Okay. Except for the deep sea hydrothermal ecosystem, sun is the only source of energy for all ecosystem on earth. This you know. Okay. On the incident solar radiation, less than 50% of it is photosynthetically active radiation, that is PAR. We know that plants and photosynthetic and chemosynthetic bacteria fix sun's radiation energy to make food from simple inorganic material. Okay, this we know that the autotrophic organisms, they are consuming the sun, okay, or solar radiation for doing the process of photosynthesis. Okay, plant capture only 2 to 10 percentage of PAR, that is photosynthetically active radiation, and this small amount of energy sustains the entire living world. Okay, so whatever radiations which are coming, the plant is only utilizing 2 to 10%, and from this 2 to 10% they are doing the photosynthesis, and as they are doing the process of photosynthesis, the entire living world is dependent on this. Okay, so it is very important to know how the solar energy captured by plant flows through the different organisms of an ecosystem. Okay, so what is happening, that is, if we talk about a simple food chain, the energy coming from the sun is transferred towards the autotroph. From autotroph, it is last to heterotrophs. Okay, so how the energy, that is solar energy, transferred into autotroph, and from autotroph it is transferred to heterotrophs. So that is our energy flow, and we have to see how this energy is being flowing in an ecosystem. So all organisms are dependent for their food on producers, either directly or indirectly. This we know. Okay, so you find unidirectional flow of energy from the sun to producers and then to consumers. Okay, it is in keeping with the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, and we know this very well. No need to explain this. Now let's move further. Ecosystems are not except for the second law of thermodynamics. They need a constant supply of energy to synthesize the molecule they require to counteract the universal tendency towards increasing disorders. The green plants in the ecosystem terminology are called producers. In the terrestrial ecosystem, major producers are herbivorous and woody plants. Okay, this we know. All the green plants which are doing the process of photosynthesis, we call them as producers. Why? Because they are producing. Okay, and the terrestrial ecosystem, major producers which are there, they are basically herbivores. Okay, likewise, primary producers in an aquatic ecosystem are various species like phytoplanktons, algae, and higher plants. Okay, so on the land, if we are talking about terrestrial organism, they are talking about two things: terrestrial organism or ecosystem, we call them as herbivores. Okay, and in aquatic ecosystem we call them as phytoplanktons. Okay, so this is a 1 mark question. Terrestrial ecosystem, the major producers are called as herbivorous, and in aquatic ecosystem the primary producers are called as phytoplanktons. Okay, yes, let's move further. You have read about the food chain and webs that exist in nature. Starting from the plant, food chain or rather web are formed such that an animal feed on plants or an other animal and in turn is the food for another. The chain or the web is formed because of this interdependency. No energy that is trapped into an organism remain it forever. The energy trapped by the producer hence is either passed on to the consumers or the organisms die. Okay, this is a very important thing and just underline it. What they are talking about is no energy is trapped into an organisms remain it forever. Okay, whatever energy it is tapped by the producer, it will be passed on to consumers. Okay, it will not remain or confined to their areas only. They have to pass the energy to the next level. Okay, death of organism is the beginning of detritus food chain or food web. Okay, all animals depend on plants directly or indirectly for their food need. They are hence called consumers and are also heterotrophs. If they feed on the producers, the plant, they are called primary consumers, and if the plant eat the other animal which in turn eat the plant, they are called as secondary consumers. No need to explain this. If you have a confusion, you can ask me. But I think so. All these terms and techniques which are given here, okay, whatever terms, consumers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, herbivores, autotrophs, all these you have studied in your previous. This is just the recall of that content. Okay, so I will just read it quickly. You would have could have tertiary consumers too. Obviously, the primary consumers will be herbivores. Some common herbivores and insectivores and mammals in terrestrial ecosystem and molluscs in aquatic ecosystem. Okay, so we have just started with the third topic, and I'll just explain you with a simple diagram which is given here. Okay, that is the grass which will be your producers, or you can say it as autotrophs. Okay, that will be fed by the goat. Okay, so the goat will be your primary consumers, and the goat will be eaten by man, so the man will be your secondary consumers. So all these are heterotrophic organisms we are talking about. Okay, they are heterotrophs, and the grass will be autotrophs. So this is a simple food chain showing producers and consumers. So primary consumers will be those which are directly dependent on producers. Secondary consumers will be dependent on primary consumers. Okay, so with this, I'll just end with the content over here. Tomorrow we'll just continue this topic further. Okay, because still there are things which are left in energy flow. How exactly the energy is flowing from one step to another, that is from one area to another. Okay, we'll see the food chain and food web also, and we'll also see how and when the energy is transferred. So with this I end today's lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.